Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Coach's Corner. That's it. That's the intro.
Fade death metal. Lorna Shore. Oh, we're getting some good. We're getting a real good question to begin.
Um, who's that? I forget what that band is that I'm listening to right now. That's really good that everybody should check out, especially if they're training. But it doesn't really help because I don't remember the fuck they're
Lorna
called.
Shore,
Not
Thy Art
for
is Murder. After the
not for a
Burying.
cowboy.
Um, I don't know who it is. I don't want. I can't swipe up to look at my Spotify. I don't remember names of bands anymore or songs.
I am the same, Tim.
Oh, Filth. I think is who it is. I think their name is actually Filth.
I don't have any answers for anybody tonight. My brain is shot.
What?
My brain shot. I don't have any answers
Oh.
tonight. I'm just here.
Look up Filth and Chin Check for a death metal song that's really good for
You
training.
guys mind?
What is going on?
What's going on with what?
What are we
What's happening?
talking about?
What about death metal?
Questions. Who's got questions?
I have
don't
one
like
because
grindcore.
everyone sucks.
What
It's
is
like
grindcore?
heavy metal and punk
I don't know these
music.
names either. I grew
I'm
up
definitely
off
not
of.
deadlifting
I'm cool with
600.
that.
Although I did send Matt a Lorna Shore song. I told him that his hack squat on the Cybex hack will go from 6 to 9 plates aside automatically with that song. If Anadrol and Halo testing had a baby, it would be that song.
Speaking of hack squatting, have you guys ever heard of the nebulous hack squat
Yeah,
or nebula?
yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Never heard of it.
I don't think they're. I don't think they make equipment anymore. I think it's so old school. They're not even in
Yeah.
So there's
existence
this
anymore.
dude by me. He has a private facility and he has all this crazy niche equipment. And that's one of the pieces. He invited me to come train with him. So trying to
It's on a
go there in a couple
35.
weeks.
It's on a 35-degree angle too. Shit is the nebula.
Steep.
It's
Yeah.
sick, dude. That thing will fuck you up. What
I'm
song?
excited.
What song for what? I don't know what he's saying.
Who's got the first question?
Fave glute exercises and why? That's my only question.
Pumping.
I'm a big fan of the pivot press. So as Marina knows, a pivot press, like side back pivot press. We have the prime pivot press at our gym, but anything that's a hard pivot. Again, probably most notably the Cybex one is the one most people will be able to look up. But a pivot press is really going to load the glutes in the most lengthened position as heavy as you could possibly load them. The one song who recommended? What you recommended?
It's To the Hellfire by Lorna Shore.
For me, I don't know. I like glute bridges on a Smith machine.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I honestly stiff legs too.
I like glute bridges on Smith, but I've recently learned to like the straight barbell hip thrust.
So Marina, was it your favorite glute exercise?
Fave glute and why?
So I'm gonna say stiff legs because I can get my glutes, but I can also get my entire posterior chain. So get the hamstrings and get my erectors and all that too. So I can just put all my effort into that and get more bang for my buck. I'll still get my glutes.
All right, sweet. Next one.
Fun.
Um,
Fun.
let's see. How do people fuck up peak week the most?
Doing
Stress.
too much.
How do people
Stress.
fuck up peak week the
Stress.
most? Okay.
I think
Anybody
doing
else?
too much,
Anybody
adding
else?
too many fucking variables.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, Marina.
Yeah.
I would say water manipulation is the thing. I'd say water manipulation slash diuretics are a thing that I think that will fuck your physique up the most when you're stepping out. You want to go from really bad, really good to really bad, really quick. Fuck with your water too much. Fuck with diuretics too much, and you're going to end up being there. I'm one where like I think cutting out water is probably one of the worst things that you could do more times than not.
So I got a question in the chat from Nick. Thoughts on Prime Callum von Moger? Um, I think he had a sick physique. I think if he would have stuck with it and didn't get into like whatever he got into, I think he could have done really good in classic. But obviously that guy, kind of went off the deep end, right?
I prefer meth head Callum Von Fogger, if we're being honest. I mean, he did some crazy shit, right? I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure there was some crazy shit that went on
I
there.
don't want to misspeak, right?
Did he fall
Yeah,
off
I
a
was gonna
cliff
say,
or
did he
something
He
fall
was
like
like
that?
Also,
high
it's
and like
building or
ran
something?
ran out of like a window or something. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I
I'd say that
remember
sounds
that whole
way more
article.
fun.
Did he win his pro
That's
card
way
too,
more
or
fun than
no?
classic
It's
physique.
definitely more fun than bodybuilding.
He did, I think.
I don't even think I think he competed like once. I don't think he ever really got
Let me
into it.
see. Column Von.
I think he did. No, I think he competed in a different federation over in Australia, and then came stateside. And I thought he did win his pro
Oh,
card.
really?
I think so.
Yeah, but I don't fucking know. Maybe Matt would probably know better than I would. I don't really know.
Let's see. Column Von Moger.
All I know is nothing cooler than an Australian dude on meth.
Did
Yeah, he's nuts.
you ever see that video of his
Yeah, he
brother
fell.
like
So
freaking
he
out?
fell from a second-story window in his home in Melbourne. He was severely injured, almost to the point of dying. He was left in an induced coma.
He's very classic though.
Right?
I didn't know he like was that good.
Yeah, he had a lot of hype behind it too when he first, was like I said before he transitioned over to the NPC IFBB.
Nice.
He was compared to Arnold a lot.
I was gonna say he looks like Arnold.
What do you got, Steve? Question?
Yeah, let's see what I got here. We'll start quick. What is your favorite cheat meal?
We just did this on a podcast, literally.
Burger.
I'm gonna have to go.
Sushi. One of them. You were
Really,
gonna say
sushi is
pizza.
your
Last time you
favorite?
said pizza.
I was gonna say Danino's pizza specifically.
Oh,
Danino's pizza and mozzarella
Danino's.
sticks. Danino, it's got to be Danino's. But what I would say though is like pizza's pretty universal too. You know what I mean? Like you could always fuck up some pizza. You know what I mean? It's really no bad time for pizza. But Danino's pizza is like straight up like orgasms.
Danino's is fire. Federici's is fire.
We're actually going to address the CJC later. I have a question for that too.
I
I
got
like
that question
hibachi. I like hibachi because you get a little show too when you
You're
go out.
such a professional bodybuilder.
You're such a dad. Never had Jersey pizza, Sam. We
Well,
have to
there you go.
treat you.
Matt, now you know what to get her for Valentine's Day.
I already
Danino's
got her
pizza.
Valentine's Day gift, actually.
Get her
Well, it's
pizza.
not good enough.
What did
It's,
you get me?
it's better than pizza.
What'd you get me for Valentine's?
You'll find out. It's coming.
Don't entice me with a good time. Tim, wait until you see what Matt and I both got you.
For Valentine's
Yeah.
Day? Oh, blushing.
I like a cheesesteak, wings, fries,
Oh, you
Mint
like
chocolate-
cheesesteaks?
mint
Didn't know
chocolate
that.
chip ice cream.
Good, a big one.
Damn, Sam knew what we got him. Hopefully the battery doesn't run out in the mail. Yeah, that's probably my go-to.
I want a plate of
Stretch?
sushi now. Hi, Stretch.
If you could only have one brand of equipment for a gym, what would it be?
Brand?
One brand.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'm either gonna go Atlantis or Cybex. Can
I was
pick
gonna
from different
say Atlantis or
generations?
Cybex.
Yeah, any piece in the whole brand.
No
any year,
stretch.
any piece.
Oh, so even if they don't make it anymore, I probably go Cybex.
I would say Cybex too, Tim. I agree.
I don't like the one Cybex hack squat I did. It was scary. It was too straight up and down.
The what? The Cybex press
There's some hack spot.
hack? Yeah, but that's why I like the
Yeah, I
Cybex
like
hack
it.
though. Is that it's like you get like there's like on like a Arsenal hack squat or something like that. You really could like if you put a reverse band on that, you could probably go like even you could probably go to like 4+
Oh,
plates on
yeah,
that,
for
you know what I mean?
sure.
And, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, fucking give me the hack spot where I only have to load up fucking 4 plates for myself instead of 8 plates. I'll take that all day.
But I like the leg
Um,
curls.
See, I thought about this question. I was torn between Cybex and Nautilus, but I've never used a Nautilus hack squat. I don't know if they make a hack squat, so I got to go with Cybex.
The only leg press I know from Nautilus too is real funky with the way that it works. I don't know if you've
I
ever
know
seen
which one you're talking
Nautilus.
about. My
I've
gym
never
has it.
done
Yeah,
that.
it's weird.
Yeah, kind of like pivots around the thing. It like, yeah, it's weird.
Steve dyes his beard. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Arsenal. I agree, Kevin.
I do. So there's a couple Arsenal pieces I like, but
'Cause you're
I
a
will
big
say,
dude. If you're a little small girl, it doesn't work.
So
Really?
me,
See-
Stretch and I used to go to an LA Fitness back in the day, right? And Stretch, you probably remember too. They used to have like all the old school Cybex shit. And for me personally, I think it was the best. They had like the squat leg press, they had that old school heavy ass hack squat. They had like every piece of leg equipment, shoulder equipment, chest equipment, like all those
Straight up and down Smith
and then they had
machines.
the old school chest Nautilus pieces with like the
The ones
plate
that
loading ones.
converge?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That was
they're
like the
so
shit
good.
that like I feel like everybody took for granted because now like they don't make it like that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And now everybody wants to have like just prime equipment or the Arsenal
Mhm.
equipment or like whatever's popular instead of getting like old refurbished Cybex shit, which would just be fucking or Nautilus shit for that matter, or even a
Why
Lantis
don't they
shit to
make
some
it
extent, too,
anymore?
like that.
I don't know.
They got
Well,
acquired.
They do still
So-
make it, but they make higher end
Yeah,
versions.
Life Fitness, Cybex, and Hammer Strength are all owned by the same company now.
Oh, I
And
didn't know
that's why
that.
so much of their equipment is so similar.
There's the Cybex VR3 brand though, that generation
Oh.
of equipment. If you look up Cybex VR3, they don't make it anymore, but all those pieces
The
were the
hack
shit.
that
Yeah.
the hack that's like Stretch and I are talking about, you could literally put two plates on there and it felt like there was 5 or 6
It's
on
it's
like
it's the
something.
white,
Yeah.
just the old school white Cybex
That's
hack.
the Cybex
It
hack,
was
dude.
That's
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying because they're straight up and down. It's 90 degrees.
Crazy.
If you literally look at that, it's straight. So whenever you look at a hack squat based on the degree
Yeah.
in which it's right. So like if you look at like an Arsenal hack squat, that's at like
Yes,
65
yes.
degrees. So that percentage it gives off
Yeah.
all the weight. You know what I mean? It gives off 35% of the load. When you have a 90% hack squat, it only gives off 10% of the load.
What?
You know what I mean? So because remember, it's a machine, it's gonna give
What
off
is
load,
relentless
right?
equipment?
Like it's not gonna be
Stretch just said that. but
Relentless.
I've heard of
Just
it
saying-
before. What
It's
is
the
that?
one in Fusion. He owns the brand. It's just really
Yeah, I heard that stuff
cheaply
sucks.
made.
I heard it sucks. Right?
Oh yeah,
I never
yeah,
used.
yeah.
I never
thought
used
it
it.
was
But I've
relentless.
heard of
Don't
it
use
before.
it. You would break it. We went with the Aries team, and I actually think Elias broke like 2 things there. He's like,
So is it made?
it's
From-
made to be cheap.
Is
It's
it-
made to fill up
well,
a gym cheaply.
But is it? So is it made from the person who owns those gyms, or is it like just a
Correct.
brand of equipment?
Well, he owns the brand.
Oh, I got
It's
you.
just in the back room, like freaking
It's-
welding
Yeah,
the shit
he's
together
just making them
himself.
together.
Stretch put a trash can. I got you. Okay,
Oh.
I get the point.
But
The
yeah,
one Arsenal piece that was so strange to me, like 2 years ago, I went to Dragon's Lair and they have a seated Arsenal chest press. And I do not have strong presses, let alone 2 years ago, they were like atrocious. I put like 4 or 5 plates on the thing and it was like light. It was crazy.
I hate
What?
that thing too.
You know
Like
which
the
one
plate
I'm talking
load
about?
one?
Yeah, plate
The
load.
plate load, yeah. Because it's like we want any press that we do to
Right.
converge. That one for some reason diverges. It goes outward. It makes no
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, it
sense. Like, I have
does.
no idea. They'd have to. I don't know if there's a reason why they did that or if they just got it wrong. It's
Yeah,
weird.
it's such a piece of shit piece of equipment. But on the flip side, like I really like their lateral raise machine and I really like their pendulum squat.
Yeah, the pendulum's good. Yeah. Which one did you say too? The
The
lateral
lateral
raise?
raise, yeah.
For
The
who?
one with the handles.
Have a I like the back piece they have too. That's like that hammer strength one. That's like the low to high row,
But
the
yeah,
chest supported
Never
low row.
tried
You know
it.
what I'm talking
Never
about?
tried it.
I like that one too.
I never. I don't know. I haven't used anything in a fucking gym in 2 years, so I don't even know what's out there.
Dude, so one piece in my gym, we have a Nautilus Smith machine, which like I've never ever seen before, and it is like the nicest Smith machine ever. If you've ever seen a video of me pressing, it's on that thing. And it's like the nicest Smith on the planet.
I wish there was just an old school place where like they just got all that old Nautilus and Cybex shit from like the 90s,
I mean,
early 2000s.
my gym, dude.
I wish somebody fucking opened up a gym and fucking just actually pick the best equipment per each body
Yeah.
part instead of going for equipment. Because, like, listen, when you open up a gym and you go to Prime, they're going to give you a
If you get
discount if you buy
everything.
so much. If you go to Atlantis, they're going to give you a discount if you buy so much. You know what I mean? Whereas me, if I was doing it, I would just like suck it up, pay the extra money, and like I want these pieces for this. Like I'd have all Nautilus pole equipment for like the back. You know what I mean? I'd have either Nautilus or Atlantis press or Cybex pushing machines. You know what I mean? I'd have all whatever Atlantis fucking pendulum. You know what I mean? Like I'd be very specific with what I'm getting for whatever purpose it is. And then if there's something where I can't decide between the two, where I really like an Atlantis press and a Nautilus press, cool, I'll get fucking both. You know what I mean? A gym can have two fucking incline presses. You know what I mean? I don't understand why gyms are so set in their way with just having this one particular thing. I get it that it costs, but how are you going to differentiate yourself as a gym nowadays?
You
anyway?
guys would
That
love the
it.
gym I train at because she buys all the best shit.
Yeah, that gym has a good reputation too.
I don't know how actually old school Jersey Shore Fitness Shop is, but that is like they take good care of the machines, and I haven't had a single issue
That's true. I wish they
with
were
those.
closer. I wish any gym that was really good was closer as far as the equipment layout is concerned. Fitness would definitely be a place I would go to if it was
Same.
closer.
All right, next question.
Who's got it?
Not me. I don't have any.
Let's go.
Start
How do you
threatening
guys feel
people,
about
Maria.
I know. I have to threaten their moms.
how do you guys feel about the new ice bath fad?
I like my cold
How do you,
plunge.
yeah, how do you guys say it again?
I love the cold plunge for my knees from my Lyme's disease. It makes my knees feel, and I'm not just saying that, it makes my knees feel phenomenal. Like, so I've been trying to train quads on Wednesdays, and then I'll sit in the ice bath on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I sit in there for 3 to 4 minutes. And my knees have been feeling really good, honestly, going into the workout, and then the day after when I sit, I get relief for like 3-4 days.
I've never done it, so this is just my opinion. I think like for somebody like Steve or just like an athlete that actually trains hard, maybe somebody who's just been training for a long time has aches and pains, right? Great, use it. If you feel like it benefits you, keep doing it. I think for like, the fad people where like they don't have any of those things, they're not real serious about training, like they just want to try the next thing to help them with their fitness goal, like just focus on other things because ice bath's not going to get you where you want to go.
Yeah, it's not a fat burner.
Yeah.
Not gonna burn fat. Like, let's be
Who
real.
said it was burning fat?
People talk about it all the time. It's like
What?
it's supposed to like turn
cold water?
fat into brown fat. Yeah, that's and increase your metabolism or some bullshit to make you burn fat more rapidly. That's a legit
I
thing.
didn't think we were going there. I'm old. My fucking knees suck now since I got Lyme's disease, and it just makes my knees feel good.
Yeah, I'd say there's specific times where it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like if somebody is dealing with an inflammatory issue, like you have fucking Lyme's disease. You know what I mean? Like it might make sense if you're dealing with a Lyme's flare up to prioritize an ice bath on a consistent and regular basis. You know what I mean? It might make sense if I'm old as fuck and my fucking knee swells up after every time I train for me to get an ice bath at a certain point around that training session to be able to recover a little bit quicker. But the one thing that I would say, and it also helps as far as like, stress resilience is concerned and some of the different functional issues that we might run into. But the one thing I would say is it does impact muscle development. It does. Like anything that's going to be that high on an anti-inflammatory scale, right? Like we've seen NSAIDs, like Tylenol and aspirin. We've seen curcumin in at least a couple studies, right? Inhibit the inflammatory function of training, right? So reduce muscle development from training. If curcumin is going to reduce the fucking muscle development aspect, you think a fucking ice bath for 3 minutes isn't? When you're sitting in there for fucking, so like sometimes it is going to, be maybe counter what the actual goal is. So you got to be smart with how you use it. Doing a fucking ice bath every single day because you want to look cool on TikTok, probably going to work against you. It's probably fucking stupid. As with too much of anything is too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's just the reality behind it. Don't be stupid. Don't use it because it's like, oh, I'm going to do fucking 25 days straight or 75 hard or whatever the fucking stupid shit is. Just use it as it's needed in a responsible way and it's going to work out.
Like I said, if I'm not going to speak on something unless like one, I've donated, and two, if like I feel there's a benefit to it for something specifically, like I said, for me, I 100%. Here we go. I 100% feel a difference in the day after I train legs. My knees are inflamed as shit. After I sit in the water, in that cold water, they feel better, and they feel better, the next few days. Now, if I don't sit in it, I've also tested that. My knees kill me for like till I train them again the next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I would, bounce off of what Tim said or piggyback, if you will, is that just like any fad though, people do shit and they don't know why and they just do it and they don't know what's happening and they just like fucking do it to like be with the trend and stuff, and that's where I find the issue.
So for whoever the woman that just said that, what if you do an ice bath? I wouldn't recommend ice bath before you train.
Wait, where? I
I
didn't see
wouldn't
that.
necessarily recommend it right after training either, but
Yeah, before or after. I would do it like on an off day, or like, I forget what I was seeing online. Somebody reputable said like not within 8 hours of a training window.
I don't see that comment. Am I going crazy?
I don't see it either.
She said, what if you do ice bath first
But
thing in the
no,
morning?
it's actually shown between upwards of 24 to 48 hours, depending on the person, depending on how long the ice bath is, et cetera, to inhibit the inflammatory
Right.
inhibit the inflammatory function of training, which is what we're in there for. We're training. We're trying to drive inflammation.
Anyhow, next question. It was me, Marina. What? Where?
what's your favorite movie?
I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't
on
see
there
that
at all. Favorite movie. I don't know, but I do have something for you. Actually, Steve, I was going to text you about this, and I decided to save it for the call. But do you know? Wait, what's your favorite zombie movie, Steve? Steve's a big horror guy.
Ooh. Fuck, dude. The original Dawn of the Dead is good.
Yeah, dude.
Good movie.
Man, yeah. The original, though, the new one was pretty good too.
Yeah, that freaking yoked black guy, the cop, dude. That guy was badass.
Yeah, Ving Rhames.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one I was talking about. That one was great.
Yeah,
What
the
about
original one though.
28
Like
days
in
later.
black and white. The original one. Like in
28
the
Days
house?
Later was good.
No, that you're thinking Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, so I don't know
No,
that other Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead. I love Dawn of the Dead.
The original Dawn of the Dead was colored.
Yes. Yeah, it was in the 70s.
Yeah.
That was Romero. Right. John C. Romero.
Yeah, George A. Romero.
I like 28 weeks, 28 days later.
Well, that I found out, there's actually, this is legit too, Google it. There's actually in the Arctic, right? They found bacteria that they have labeled zombie rage virus. I kid you not, right? It's a bacteria that can infect you, right? That causes a rage-like thing,
Called
right?
Tren.
Somebody's giving me a thumbs up here, right? Yeah, it's like Tren and Anadrol mixed, but it's like rabies. It's basically like human rabies. And now they're worried that the what's it called? Like as we get further, like the ice caps melting and stuff. What's it called?
Global warming.
Global warming. They're worried that the global
Well,
warming.
they abandoned that term. It's climate change now. They got rid of the term.
Sorry. So that the climate change is going to cause a scenario where this zombie rage virus comes out. And if you watch that 28 days later, because I just watched 28 weeks later with my son the other night.
Yeah.
And it's essentially it's not. I remember it being a zombie movie. It's not really a zombie movie. It's that when people are dead, they're dead in that movie, right? So like you can shoot a zombie in the stomach, it's dead. You know what I mean? Not necessarily in the head. But like if you're infected with this virus, you turn into essentially like like you'll fucking just murder somebody, right? By including, but not limited to, biting the hell out of them and eating them, right? So it's actually
just a movie about Mike Tyson, dude. He's just raging, biting people.
But seriously, if you go back and you watch those videos, it's about that virus, which is actually like a real thing that they're worried about now. It's just crazy.
What about Train to Busan? Yeah, Busan. Oh, that movie was crazy. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Dude, that shit is wild.
The second one went out of nowhere.
That fucking movie was insane.
Yeah,
you like horror movies too?
That was another one that my son was obsessed with.
Yeah.
Who, me? Yeah, we've gone over this. I love horror movies.
I like scary movies, but I'm one that I can't remember names. I don't remember movies. I just watch them. I'm like, oh, that
what
was
about
good.
Saw?
And that's it.
Tim, do you like Saw?
Yeah, first few Saws were good, but I feel like that was another one that they kind of killed it. You know what I mean?
Really? I love that.
It's just the same premise over and over again.
What did you think about the new Halloweens?
The new Halloweens to me were tough.
Yeah, they were. The first one I liked. The last one I fucking hated. They made him look like a big
the last one was
pussy.
hard, dude. Yeah, last one was hard to get through.
Yeah,
but old school Halloween in our house,
the
old school. My son loves old school Halloween. Jason, like those are like like literally my son has like a Jason pillow, a Jason blanket. Like he's like a freak when it comes to the horror movies like that. So, all right. Anybody else with a favorite movie thing?
Mm. Braveheart.
Oh, Braveheart's a good one, dude.
Miracle.
Gangs of New York is one of my favorite. That's not a horror movie.
Yeah.
I like Gran Torino.
Steve, you have another question?
Yeah, I got a few.
Go for it.
How do you guys assess a client's check-in?
I'm not really sure how to answer that.
I'm not a coach,
Like,
so
literally, literally
Good
how.
question, yeah.
so I guess just obviously just so we can answer the question. I guess the first thing would be visuals, right? So right, a lot of people hyper focus on the scale, right? I like to tell people, hey, listen, we're gonna compare visuals first, right? So if I know and I start to learn that it's somebody who is very hyper focused on the number, say it goes up a pound and I see that and I already know this person, they're gonna already, have stress levels up because of that. I'm just gonna compare visuals, with them on my video back right away so we can calm that stress down with
Oh my God.
the scale. And then like you guys said, such a broad question too. And there's so much other things, right? What were their stress levels at for the week? Were they adherent to their plan 100%?
Well, maybe the best way to put it, because I'm sure you're the same. Like we have a weight tracker.
Yep.
Sometimes that weight tracker will include other things like a blood glucose,
Yep.
blood pressure, heart rate, measurements as far as circumferences are concerned. So we'll assess whatever feedback they're giving us as far as data is concerned.
Yep.
And then we have checking questions that come in with every check-in as well.
Yep.
So that's what we'll assess, like the feedback, like Steve was talking about, where maybe it's lifestyle feedback, it's emotional feedback, psychological feedback, etc. Right. And then we assess the pictures and we assess their plan and we take all these things into consideration before we and honestly, where a client's been, what plans we have for a client. So all those things go into consideration when
it's hard. It's tough to say. Everything is so, and week to week, it's different with the same client too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, the other thing that I'll add to that, I agree with everything you guys said, is checking the notes from the previous week. So I always keep a log of like what changes I make for each client and what the outcome is the following week. And especially if somebody's like going into prep or we just switch them from like a cut phase to a reverse phase, checking those notes so you can reference them in the future. It's not always gospel, right? Like people's bodies change and how they react to things, but helps you get a more educated guess on what to do next, because at the end of the day, none of this is a direct science or math equation, right? It's all experiment, and we're the brains to do that, so you don't have to, right?
Boom.
All right. You want to go again, Steve? I feel like you put out the least amount of questions. I only have like 4, maybe I got 5 left, but nonetheless.
So
I only got 5. Way to make me and Marina feel so small. Like 3 questions, 0, 3, 1 each week.
I got 1.
So this one's probably going to take us a little bit just because it's a very like taboo subject. So in your opinion, do steroids make mental health worse?
Yeah, 100%. I think we know that, right? Specific
Yep.
steroids, specific.
I don't think it'll ever make it
as far
better.
as neurotoxicity.
So I'll put devil's advocate on making it better. When it's needed, it can make you feel better, and specifically TRT.
Well, yeah,
So,
TRT, but like I feel like the question is more for like PED usage. I don't know though.
It can go either way, in my opinion,
Okay.
since it's not specified. But yeah, like for abusive dosages or just compounds that probably aren't even meant for human consumption. Like, yeah, absolutely, it's not good for mental health at all.
I will say this. I think that a lot of people just sweep it under the rug, right? Because in today's society, steroids are such like just like a norm anymore, right? You go to the gym and half the gym is probably on some type of PED and you can't even tell. Right. So I also think on the flip side, mental health is also swept under the rug a lot, right? Everybody's just like we're in such a large society where everybody's just like, I'm fine. It's a phase. I'm like, just being like it's such like a tough topic for me too, just being from like what I've had to deal with it, like myself personally. So, I feel like with the whole steroid thing, it 100%, I don't even think there can be an argument, will make mental health way worse if you're already in a bad state of mind.
I think for a lot of people, the biggest issue there, not to cut off,
No,
you're
no,
still
you're good.
going? I think one of the biggest things there is, especially for the younger guys and girls that don't really understand, maybe I feel like there needs to be a real maturity level to fully like, I don't even want to say fully comprehend, but like to comprehend even on the surface level that there is a mental health issue going on within yourself, right? To really be able to kind of like notice that, to really truly be able to believe it, right? There takes a certain level of maturity. And I think when we're a little bit immature, right, if we don't really recognize that, what's happening is we might not be feeling great, and then we do go on drugs, and guess what? All of a sudden, we feel effing awesome, especially on the right amount of drugs and the right drugs. We feel awesome. Remember, D-ball early on was used as an antidepressant. You know what I mean? Because it was
I
like
didn't
this
know
feel
that.
good thing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, especially think about it, especially if a lot of your hormonal issues, like mine at the time, when I had I'm sorry, when my mental health issues, right, when I was younger, a lot of it probably stemmed from my low hormones. I didn't find out until later, right? And then all of a sudden I got on TT and I felt a lot better from a mental health perspective. And it's because sometimes, we have that it overlaps, right? And it can correlate as far as low hormones, high hormones, right? The drugs will cause toxicity over time, right? As far as the brain is concerned. But initially, as we're going on to a stack, we're probably going to feel a lot better, especially at the right dosages. You know what I mean?
Right.
And at the end of the day, that now turns how I feel from a depressed, maybe anxious standpoint into something that's a little bit easier for me to deal with day to day. So now I'm glorifying these drugs. I feel awesome, right? But then what happens when you come off those drugs, right? Or you taper down that dosage to a smaller extent. Now you have that dopamine drop. You feel like shit again.
Probably
You know what I mean?
worse.
We're creating, yeah, we're creating imbalances there. You know what I mean? And I think this is really something on a female side too, because we have to remember where a lot of women get their androgens from outside of the ovary. Predominantly, it's going to be the adrenals in a lot of cases. You know what I mean? So it's like we're running on something there. Like we have something to run off of for so long. You know what I mean? Once you pull those out, now it's a very real concern that somebody drop back down to their baseline, levels, which again could be caused. So now it makes it even worse. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
So I mean, just speaking from personal experience, right? So, what was it? During COVID in like 2020, when me and Nino lost our house here, right? Like the trees fell on it and all that. I had like my old shed, and me and my dad would train every night and all that. And at the time, I wasn't on anything, and I thought if I like now, like I have a few pieces of equipment in there, let me start, let me go back on a cycle, like I'll feel better, all this and that. And sure, I felt good and like during it, right? I was on test, MPP, all this shit, right? And then I was already depressed from everything going on, right? And I remember my depression hit it felt like 100-pound bag of bricks smacked me right in my jaw after I came off. I remember like a month after, I was like, what the hell am I feeling? Like it was the depression was magnified like 10 times over. Worse than it was prior. So the hormones definitely dug the grave deeper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's a good point, right? Like a lot of people try to use prep as a way to like escape reality if they're in some type of bad situation mentally or existential issues or causing bad mental health. Like that's you're playing with fire, right? Because when you go into prep and you add in all those super neurotoxic drugs like tren and whatnot, like you might feel okay because you're focusing on the goal at the moment, but the second you're done with prep, you are gonna just tank. Like you're gonna be in such a worse spot mentally than you were prior to going into prep.
Prep is even another beast in and of itself, where I would even argue, I don't know about you guys, and I think we kind of just touched on this, Matt,
Mm-hmm.
like you did, but like in prep, I would say because of prep, right? Like the drugs would make you feel even worse in prep sometimes on the drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because again, you're in that exhausted state, like you're not sleeping well, like all that different stuff is going on. So those issues are being exacerbated as it is. You know what I mean? So it's like it really like, there's you can give or take there. You know what I mean? When we come off the drug, of course, it's always going to be worse. But even on the drugs, in certain environments like prep, now you're putting yourself in a position where it's hard to control.
Justin, I have a full head of motherfucking hair, asshole. I just
You
shaved my
absolutely do
head.
not. That That is an absolute lie.
I
You do
shaved
not
my
have a full head of hair.
yo. I shaved my head this morning.
I don't
It's
care if you
a
shave or
buzz
not.
cut.
You saying you have a full head of hair
I
is a lie,
do.
technically.
I do have a full head of hair.
You can have a full head of hair.
Well, not right now, but I
He-
can if I wanted to.
Yeah.
He
I
identifies
tell,
as someone with a full head of hair.
I tell people the same exact thing. I tell people the same thing. If I wanted to, I could do it.
No, you can't. Can you?
You sure?
What?
See, you do have a sexy
All right.
head. Thank you very much, Justin. Yeah, no,
Anything else on this one, or
no, it's it's just been something you guys know. It's been going.
I think
around
it's
for-
also just like the
Gotta
same
wait.
concept with just like any other drug that people use to feel better. It's just a band-aid on a bullet hole. And it like I'm not saying all people with bad mental health do
7:30.
use steroids to fix that, but it's
No.
still it's the same concept where it's like
but if you're having like feelings of worthlessness, you're depressed, you're verbalizing this, and you're aware of that, and then you're going to
and then you do drugs.
Yeah, and then you're going to use a prep or these hormones to make you feel better. You're like Tim said, you're going to feel better for that cycle or that prep or whatever, and then when you have to start bringing shit back to reality, you're screwed. You know what I mean? That's why I always tell people we could be planning for this shit like right now, right? Say Matt and I, for example, right, are just for sake of an example, are saying, okay, Matt, you're going to do New York Pro next year, right? That's our game plan. That's what we're working towards. And then say in fucking December, we're ready to start prep. And Matt, and like, because we're so close, he's telling me that, he's not in the right state of mind, right? Like he's going through shit, this and that. I'm like, dude, we can't start prep. You can't start prep, bro. Like, you know what I mean? We got to get your real life shit figured out first with your mental health. Get you to a spot where you're back to a good spot, and then we'll prep, bro. Like, you know what I mean? For a fucking $1,000 paycheck and a trophy, it's just not worth
It's one of those things. It's tough too, because I think a lot of us got into what we do here as far as training is concerned, as far as the lifestyle is concerned, because we all struggled in some way, shape, or form a little bit. You know what I mean? Whether we even want to admit it or not, I think there was always a little bit of a struggle going on there, at least for some of us. Maybe not everybody, but for some of us. Right. And the gym was a place that we could turn to. But that doesn't mean that, like to your point, that prep is the answer in these situations. You know what I mean? It's not to say that we need
all that, but when we start to add in all those drugs, it's like a lot of people just don't want to hear the reality of the situation. You know what I mean? Especially this younger generation, man. It's just like a fucking problem anymore. Like too many kids are just masking fucking all this shit, man, with like just taking all these steroids and stuff, and they just don't listen. And it's just
dude,
it's a very
you
prominent thing.
There are things that you could be in a good state of mind, and if you take shit like Supergirl
And they can make
it
can make you fucked up.
Yeah, like so. Think about being in a bad state of mind, and then you take that shit. You're asking for trouble.
Sam, I wasn't saying Matt was going to. I was just using that as an example. Like if a coach and a client are planning for a show for a whole year or two, and then some shit comes up, like you can't. You know what I mean? Shit changes. You know what I mean? But like your mental health always should be number one, no matter what the situation is, a show or not. I mean, it always has to be. So.
All right. So moving on, we got that. I got a CJC question now.
Okay.
CJC versus HGH. And I guess the other question that we had in the chat before was CJC versus every other fucking little thing that you could do for growth hormone output. So like NK677, ipamorelin, tesamorelin, blah, 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 blah. So all these peptides versus HGH. And this person put in parentheses, if I can't get HGH. So I don't know. Actually, I don't even know how to look at that then. CJC versus HGH. If I can't get HGH, then it's not really CJC versus HGH, is it?
So I don't know. Yeah, well, that's a good point.
I think it's two different questions.
I don't know much about CJC, right? So I just don't want to misspeak, but I know it stimulates, right, secretion of growth hormone, right? Tim, obviously correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
I know, doesn't
Growth
it
hormone
have
pulse.
a little effect on cortisol, right? Prolactin, I think it is, right? CJC.
You broke you guys are breaking up. Am I breaking up or you guys are breaking
I
up?
think you're
You
breaking
sound
up.
clear.
I think it was you, Tim. Can you hear me?
My bad. Yeah, I got you now.
CJC has minimal effect, right, on cortisol and prolactin, from what I understand.
It could,
Okay.
based on the HGH, based on the growth hormone pulse itself, but you're probably looking more. CJC is probably going to be a little bit less than that. Like, in other words, growth hormone itself would definitely have an impact on the glucocorticoid or the prolactin. But this is going to improve only your natural GH. So I would say you probably get minimal side effects in terms of those returns.
Okay.
Or blood glucose.
Is it expensive, CJC? How is it dosed in micrograms?
It depends on where you get it from. If you get it from a clinic, like I just talked to a new client that came in, right? And they were charging him something fucking ridiculous, right? All a year supply up front. So he paid like whatever, $2,000, right? I don't know what the number is off the top of my head, but let's say he paid $2,000 for a year supply of this stuff. You could get CJC for Amino Asylum
Yeah, I'm looking at
for
it here.
$34.99.
$24.99.
Yeah, 5 mgs. Yeah, for $24.99. So it's
CJC, no DAC? No.
Yeah. So even with the DAC, which is a drug affinity complex, you can get that for like $35, I think. So either way, it really depends on what dosage you're running. At the end of the day, CJC, I think the biggest side effect you're going to run into with CJC, honestly, is the amount of water retention that you're going to get from it. It's like a bad generic. Yeah, blood pressure could go up from that 100%, but obviously the look might not be that clean. Hunger is going to be escalating because I'm pretty sure that's a ghrelin mimetic, or that might just be the MK or the IPAM ghrelin. I think CJC, IPAM, testosterone, I think these things have their places, especially maybe for a female, right? Where we're not looking for a huge dosage of growth hormone anyway. It could be great. I think for anti-aging purposes, it could be great. I think for better sleep, better recovery, it could be great. But would I ever say CJC versus HGH? You're going down the wrong path, man. We're talking about two different things, even though they sound similar.
Right.
They're two totally different things. We're talking about a hormone versus maximizing your natural hormonal output. The way I would liken this to is like CJC, ipamorelin, testosterone, these types of things, like they're going to be better than anything you can get from GNC, right? But at the end of the day, growth hormone is a completely and totally different ball game. It's completely and totally different thing. It's not even close. You'll never get this effects from CJC or any of its competitors there that you would get from HGH. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's not going to work that way. I don't care what you read online.
I don't also too, like, that brings up a point I was just thinking about. Like, I feel like just with how prominent like all this drug usage is nowadays, like within the industry, or gyms and such, I don't understand the point of why individuals just think it's like, I don't know if the right word's cool, or like just like they want to say like I'm taking HGH and they don't even know what the fuck they're getting. Like they'll just be like, I bought 100 units of growth hormone, it was $100, and it's like in these fucking like just little like fucking vials that like they don't know what it is, and they're like, I'm taking growth hormone. Wouldn't you rather just like know what you're taking, right? Like real growth hormone is fucking expensive. Like it's not $100, you know what I mean, for 10 bottles of fucking yellow tops. Like I just don't understand. Like, but people think they're because it's like they're just telling people I'm taking growth hormone. They think it's like automatically just real.
Yeah, nowadays it's so fake. It's not even funny.
It's crazy.
It's easier to buy a fake than it is to buy real stuff. Like nowadays, like it used to be a scenario
That's an
where
issue.
it was like, am I going to get a fake? And like nowadays, it's like, well, you're likely to get a fake unless you know somebody or have a good connection, or have a trustworthy connection. Like that's basically what it comes down
That's
to.
crazy.
So, all right, so that's done and dusted. What else you got, Steve?
I
got a couple more here too.
Milf Lover asked me how big is too big. That's good kid. That's what yeah, he's the man.
Anything more than a pinky is too big.
How do you recommend getting into coaching?
How do I recommend getting into coaching? I don't know. Is that like, if you want to be a coach, experience, education, and then, don't charge people
Yes.
initially,
Yeah,
literally.
we talked
Like
on
take
that.
on your first few clients for free, and really try to hone that experience and that education that you've already worked on.
Yeah,
Whatever you do, don't post on Instagram now accepting
Yeah,
new
don't do
clients,
one show and turn
or
around and be like, I'm a coach now.
yeah,
yeah,
or post that thing where it's like looking for 6 men in the Old Bridge area that want to get toned or some
In
stupid shit like
6
that.
weeks.
Yeah.
yeah, Maria, to your point, like make question whether you're actually ready to be a coach or not. Like just because you competed doesn't mean you're qualified to be a coach.
Yeah.
Just because you've been in shape doesn't mean you're qualified to be a coach.
Mhm.
Just because you think you eat healthy foods and know good ingredients of food doesn't mean you're qualified to be a
Just
coach.
because you're
Like, there's a
ISSA
lot that goes
certified
into it.
doesn't mean you're a coach.
Yeah.
Jason said I hate those ads.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point, Matt. I would say the least deserving credentials for anybody to be a coach and maybe even a trainer is going to be a national training
But just,
certificate,
yeah.
like ISSA cert, a NASM cert, an ACE cert. Those are completely, it's almost worthless as it relates to coaching. Almost.
I'd rather see results than a fucking personal training cert. It shit don't matter, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Exactly.
What?
Tim, you have any more?
What type?
Oh, my bad, Matt.
I got. You're good. What type of tissue work has given you the best results? And do you have a doctor you'd recommend?
Got nothing on this one. I need to get
Tissue
more
work?
tissue work done. Oh, EJ.
EJ, I go to EJ night and day. I feel like a new woman. He's not on here anymore, but EJ up north.
And he's got the reputation to go with it too. He works with a lot of pros, works with a lot of athletes.
Mhm.
Dr. Umar
Yeah,
Nassar.
I've heard. So I mean, Umar's worked on me, and he's like the fucking man. I've heard a lot of good things about EJ as well. Him and I have talked a bunch of times on Instagram. He also seems like a really nice guy on top of it. But yeah, I mean, Umar's fucking awesome. I've never worked with EJ, but Umar's like,
Yeah, I
fucking
think Umar he's obviously a chiropractor, so he has a different way of doing things. He also has the cold plunge, he has, the sauna.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more all encompassing, but EJ is just straight tissue work, hands-on.
Yeah.
and like all the tissue work, right? Because there's so many different, like there's deep tissue, there's active release, there's grafted, there's cupping. Like,
Yeah.
is there any that you guys feel like has made a bigger difference for you, or is it just kind of like a combination of everything that you feel?
Personally, just deep tissue. The cupping is great too. I've gotten Graston, didn't like it, doesn't do much, it just hurts. But deep tissue for sure. But only deep tissue by EJ. I've gotten deep tissue at like Hand and Stone. No, horrible.
Also, speaking of deep tissue, well, I'll answer your question first. I think deep tissue, I do like cupping. I do feel it, but only in certain like locations. I feel it on like my lower quads and my calves for my knees. I definitely feel a difference. And then on my like upper back with my traps, just because like I sleep like this and my traps go into my neck and they give me headaches. So I feel
He
the
just uses
difference.
his delts as pillows. He doesn't even.
I feel a difference on like my upper trap area when Umar puts them like across my upper back and traps, and then definitely on my lower quads for sure. But I have a story for you guys afterward. You'll laugh. But.
Oh God.
So I agree. I agree with you guys, like the deep tissue. But to me, I think the thing that was like the biggest game changer was when I got cupping. The first time I ever did it was actually with Umar. And like, so my normal day job, I'm sitting on my computer, like
And
hunched over like this
you
all
want a
day.
fucking pro card, bro.
Yeah, I won a pro card right after too.
Immediately after.
Yeah, like that, like 4 weeks later, actually. Uh, I'm so tight up in my upper back all the time, right? So when I got the cupping and did the mobility work and whatnot, the cupping, like holy shit, I felt like a new man. And also for folks on Long Island, if there's any listening, Dr. Saransh Kapoor, SK, out of Profit Deer Park, he's a fucking man. Like I go to him every week. I had a pinched nerve in my neck, and he fixed me like no problem. So he's really good. So what's your story, Steve?
Wait.
So I already told you about my shoulder, Matt, but I definitely think Tim will laugh at this. So, Tim, I don't know if you know or not, but my shoulder, they had to check if I had cancer in there. I think I told you before. So
You can get cancer in your
We
shoulder.
were on the phone last time you were there getting the MRI done. Remember?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
So
you were
Marina, I had
shoving chicken nuggets down your throat.
I had a I had a my shoulder like popped out of place like 8 years ago. So I went to go put like a 15-pound dumbbell back, and when I put it down, my shoulder popped out. So then
Of course, it's the 15-pound
Yeah, so-
dumbbell. I don't think I heard that part.
yeah, retro fitness. I went down, I picked it up, and as soon as I went to go put it back like this, it dislocated. So I knew it did because I've dislocated this shoulder 3 times from ice hockey. So I went to the ER, they popped it back, and then the pain never went away. So 2 years after that, when I was 24, they did an MRI and they saw I had like a 1/4 inch bone spur, right? Fast forward to last year, I've been getting, well, over the last 6 years, I've been getting injections in here every 3 months. I don't know if you ever heard of Kenalog, but they put a 7-inch needle in my rear delt right into the joint, and they put like 6 cc's of this shit. It's like lube into the joint. So it was giving me a relief for like 8 to 10 weeks. And then I just couldn't wait for that 12th week to hit because it hurt so bad. So it just kept getting worse over the years, right? So last January, he did another MRI. Turns out that he said it looked like osteochondroma, which is a bone tumor. So I had to go see a specialist at Cooper in Camden to make sure I didn't have cancer. They stuck a fucking 5-inch needle in my delt here and took out part of the bone and biopsied it. And they were like, you don't have any cancer. I was like, okay, thank God. Because they said if it was cancerous, they were going to have to put me for like emergency surgery and cut it out. And I was going to be out for like 8 to 12 months because they would have to cut like 7 inches of muscle through and then turn my humerus bone and scrape it off. So, so I was like, listen, it's not cancerous. I just don't want major surgery at 29 years old, right? So I got an injection last July, and I was like waiting for October to hit because I was like, I know I'm going to be in pain in 2 months. Let me make my next appointment. So I never got the next injection because my shoulder just hasn't been in pain since. So I went 2 weeks ago to the ortho, and he's like, listen, if this doesn't hurt in 2 weeks, I'm going to give you a call. I'm going to put in another MRI. They think it fell off. They think the whole bone spur fell off, and it's just floating in my fucking shoulder. They call it a loose body. So he just put in an MRI yesterday. So I got to go get it. So he was like, he said it's the worst bone spur he's ever seen for a 29-year-old. He said it's like it's an inch long, and it's digging from my humerus into my ball and socket. It's going like through the cartilage tissue too, and it just digs into the socket, and that's what the pain is. I haven't had any pain since October, so I have to go get an MRI now. They think it fell off, and he's like, only you would avoid surgery and have a bone spur just completely fall off the fucking bone, but he doesn't know where it went if it did.
Yeah, that's the thing. You could still need surgery for a loose body thing. Like that's actually a common thing in baseball.
Yeah,
where they have surgery all the time.
Yeah, he said like if depending where it is, if it did fall off, they can arthroscopically suck it. Yeah, scope it out, suck it out.
Oh my
but he said
God.
that's no recovery. He said you might just not be able to train for like 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's literally like if a baseball player has a scope done on their elbow or whatever, they're out for like 8 weeks and they're back.
Yeah, so he said like 2 to 4 weeks. I'd be okay, but he said also too, it's possible to disintegrate.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts.
Jeez.
This guy just does anybody know this guy that just commented coaching?
Oh,
Chat doesn't work for some reason.
I do not.
But anyway,
mine didn't work last week. I don't know why.
Yeah, what's the dude's name?
it's because you harass people too much in that thing.
MINHJK.
I posted when we started. Like, if you guys are interested in hearing from me, put coaching in the comments, and I have to send to my OnlyFans link. So are we back to questions? Where are we at with questions?
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to tell you my disability.
Yeah, you got a crazy bone spur in your shoulder, which now that I feel better and I'm back at the gym, I'm going to prep for the same show as you. And I hope your bone spur takes you down so that I can beat you.
We won't even be in the same weight class.
Dude, get out of here, bro. I'm going to put on 800 milligrams of tren all week.
What weight class would you be in, Tim? Light heavy?
Whatever yours is. Yeah, light heavy.
I'm super duper dad bod.
All right. So the next question we have here is training legs twice a week or once per week versus once per week. Training legs twice a week versus once
a week. My knees can't handle anything more.
I train legs 3 times a week.
Hey,
Yeah,
Matt,
it really depends.
just so you know, when you get some dude knocking at your fucking door tonight at 2 a.m., it's because Marina just said that you were from Long Island.
Oh.
He asked you from Long Island. I said Matt is from Long Island.
Yeah, and now he's asking really from where?
Yeah.
He
Okay,
still
I'm gonna
lives
put my
there?
address in.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna say,
Marina,
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Marina, stop answering.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
I feel
answer
bad.
that.
When
Why
Matt
would I
goes-
answer that? Why would I
When
answer
Matt goes
that?
missing, we know where. We know
Yeah, I feel
why.
bad. I can't see the chat, so if anybody's messaging me directly, just somebody call it out. Oh,
Crush on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there we go. This is gonna be a gone girl situation where he gets
Sam.
raped, but nobody wants to listen.
Oh my
I
God,
want to
this guy
touch
wants to
his
touch your
muscle.
muscles.
Yes, this is getting great.
Oh God.
Sam,
And I'm also
Uh,
his wife, is
Sam,
what Sam said.
stop. He said I like muscle. Tim actually has used posing trunks. I'll sell you for $7K. Message him.
100%. I'll go way lower than that too if you want.
Oh, and he likes
I
boobs
like
too.
boobs.
I like boobs.
He also likes boobs.
And chest. Oh, there you go. Matt's got a big chest.
yeah, I don't know this gentleman.
I
Yeah,
want it.
I want
All right,
it.
let's see
Oh
if we
my-
can.
I think it's time for Steve to exercise the block button.
Dude.
Yeah, can
What
you
size does
can
he
you kick
wear?
him out, Steve?
He wears an extra small.
Definitely gonna have to.
All right. I blocked him. All right,
Good.
Yeah, they're
Okay,
blocked.
I feel like you should take a screenshot.
Live with
though, Matt.
me.
That way, if you need to make some money a little bit later, you can.
Oh my God, blocked him.
Sam, you got to understand it's about the dollars and cents. You know what I mean?
Yeah, come on, Sam. $7K for them posing trunks.
I did get offered $5,000 for a pair of used posing trunks.
Me too.
I
Some
would
guy
do-
actually
I would
asked
do-
me if I could send them to him. He could sniff them and then send them back.
That was the stipulation. They had to be not washed.
Yep.
I would do that for $5 as long as they covered shipping and handling.
You're such a
No,
scumbag.
I want the money, baby. $5 goes a long way.
That
man.
could actually
Just
buy
think-
us a
just think of
double
fruit
quarter.
juice.
That could buy you. That's a quarter pounder.
Exactly. All right. So wait, training legs 2 times per week versus 1 time per week, because I know he's going to be listening to the podcast and actually wants now an answer here. But I would just say, listen, dude, stop worrying about shit like that. Like, do you need 2 days a week? And if you did, it would be to grow both your legs. You know what I mean? Or both, anterior and posterior. Yeah. Anterior and posterior, right? So it's like have a hamstring day, have a quad
Monday
day.
I do my left
Leave it at
leg.
that.
Tuesday I
Friday
do my
you do
right
your
leg.
right leg.
So much for giving him a serious answer, right? So much for giving him a serious answer. They're so immature, these guys.
Oh my
Tell them,
God.
look, they're so immature.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh
go
my.
after yourselves. We've
No,
almost, we're
I
almost
actually,
completely off the wrestling.
I do want to hear what you were saying, Tim. I'm sorry.
I don't want to do it now. Again, I would just say don't overcomplicate things. Like if your legs need to grow, go ahead, split it up. I don't like deadlifting and squatting on the
No.
same day. To me, I think that's stupid. I know a lot of people do it. I don't. It's hard for me to wrap my mind around that, especially when you're trying to get maximal output out of 2 big exercises like that. I'd rather split that up and have it on 2 separate days. So in that case, do some posterior work on a day, do some anterior work on another day, hams and quads, and call it quits. But if you're really well developed in a particular area, maybe you need to reduce the volume there. And instead of having an entire day dedicated to quads are your best body part. Maybe you split that up a little differently so that you can get a little bit more volume on there for the body parts that need it. Riley's a good example of that, where his quads are great. They're one of his, if not his best body part. His hamstrings aren't bad. They get dialed in for the show. They're always there. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where compared to his quads, they need to come up a little bit for that better, so that they can stand out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, at the end of the day, he's only doing 2 exercises per week for quads, right? If I'm not mistaken, maybe 4 to 5 sets of quads total per week between those 2 exercises, and that's it. But again, now we use that extra space that we have within his plan to be able to dedicate areas to where he needs it. Right? So to be able to dedicate the volume areas that he needs it. So, just be smart. It doesn't have to be that complicated. Is twice a week better than once a week with training legs? I don't fucking know. Do you need to train your legs?
Yeah, I think. I mean, again, I think it depends. Like, if you need to, and there's a place for it, sure. Just be extremely mindful of recovery. All right.
Yeah.
How much volume you're hitting within both sessions, and you got to be wise about it. That's all.
That's like asking, should I train, my arms twice a week? I don't know. That all depends on the individual, the way their body's set up, and where they need to allocate their volume.
Both
Is it
show.
possible? Yes. Is it necessary?
Also,
Who
too,
knows?
you're only gonna improve and grow from what you're recovering from, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
100%.
you know, just make sure that you're like, if you're gonna go in and you're gonna hit 8 work like full balls to the wall working sets twice a week. I mean, where's your food at, right? Like, what phase are you at with your food, right? Are you on drugs? Like, you know, where's the PEDs at? You know, things like that. Like, just be mindful of recovery. Just because you do more doesn't mean you're going to improve. It actually make it worse if every other variable is not in place with what you're doing. So
Yeah. In most cases, more is not better.
no. I think too, we see that now with training, just how like, you know, smarter and such people have gotten and advanced with training, right? Like you can take a true one set on things, balls to the wall, maximize
Mm-hmm.
output, true mechanical failure, and improve more than just doing like 3 sets, like with half proper mechanics, you know. So
For
I
sure.
can totally blow my load and have an effective quad workout with 2 sets of hack squats.
it's true.
Yeah, I would be in the camp too, where like we know from a lot of the research, it doesn't necessarily show that adding volume, increases gains, right? So it's like doing the third set doesn't necessarily increase gains, period. But I find it hard to believe, and like I'm waiting on the research on Jay Cutler or on Ronnie Coleman or on and maybe not to that degree, but a real bodybuilder,
Yep.
you know what I mean? That's maximized their outcome through PED enhancement too, right? Where it's like if I took Steve or Matt, if I took one of you guys, like, who said maybe you guys do need that third set at some point, maybe not now, but at some point, maybe you need that third set. But my point is, you have to earn the reality of needing that added set. You know what I mean? Like you have to be able, like if you're 250, like, yeah, okay, maybe now you've earned the right to have 3 sets, maybe even the right to have 4 sets in certain cases. You know what I mean? But you push yourself to that point where you need that added stimulus, right? If you're not that point, then you don't need that. You just need to get better at your sets, period.
And that's what I think is huge too, Tim, right? Getting better at your sets, right? And like I tell people, like clients, that all the time, like you don't need more. You
Quality
don't
over
need more.
quantity.
You have to do more within the sets that you're already doing. Like
Mm-hmm.
if we can all, or like take Matt for example, if Matt can fucking build the quads he has with 8 fucking sets or even 6 sets, everybody, you just have to do more within the set, right? It's like most people don't even know what taking a set of hack squats to actual failure fucking looks like. Like where you're
That's a really
bottomed
good
out
point.
and you don't,
That's also
you're scared if you're going
that's
to get
also
back
where
up.
Yeah, that's also where I say throw out the idea of even mechanical failure. Like I want you to execute well, but I'm going to give you an exercise that's relatively safe. Put your stoppers up. I want you to go until you literally can't move the fucking sled back up. Like if you're buried under that sled and somebody has to help you get out, then you don't know what failure is yet. You got to learn how to get there first to be able to understand how to train around failure, at least.
Yeah.
You also,
Too many people that are talking about failure that don't know
and
how
you
to
have
get
to be
there.
fucking pretty psycho in the head too to like get there on like fucking hack squats too with like 6 plates on the side, like to actually like be at like where your legs are shaking and your feet are tingling numb and like you're like I'm gonna go down again. You have to be fucking psycho in the head. Like you can't be all there because if you don't get back up, like who the fuck's helping you? You know what I mean? It's awesome though.
It's great.
Until you have to get off and strip all the plates
yeah,
to
dude,
get it back up
I
again.
think I need
You're
an
treating it
oxygen
by
tank
yourself.
in my shed, especially when I'm alone, because doing that shit alone sucks.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah, well, Marina, you hack squat like 10 plates, so I get it.
Yeah, actually it's 11.
Oh shit.
It's just
Wait,
3.
so what is it? 6 on one side and 5 on the other?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Anything
That makes
11.
sense.
It's 11. It's 11 on each side.
Oh,
Steve.
excuse
Get
me.
it right, dude.
And
Oh,
that's
you
with
should.
that's with 7 reverse bands.
That's why she had to leave the gym that we commonly go to. There wasn't enough 45s.
Exactly.
That hack squat you use is nice.
Just the Atlantis one.
Yeah, I love Atlantis stuff.
Do you like that piece? I haven't tried it, but I love every Atlantis piece I've ever tried.
It's so good.
It looks nice.
You would end up legitimately needing 10 plates on
Yeah.
each side on that Atlantis one, though, man.
Really?
Like
Why?
legit. Like I'm not exaggerating. You probably need like 8 plates on each side to equate to the weight that you're doing.
Yeah, like
that.
I do 3 on each side, no band, and
Dude, can we talk about reverse bands?
Tell Tim about the hack squat I have in the shed. That motherfucker is heavy.
Oh yeah, that thing is definitely
I
heavy.
don't even
What
know
brand is
why,
it?
dude. It's ridiculous. What's Bolt
What brand is
Fitness?
it?
It's just Bolt Fitness. So the guy who I bought it from on Facebook, he
Bolt Fitness.
dude, it's so heavy, but
That was made in somebody's
dude,
backyard.
the guy who I bought it from was 6'7", no lie. And he's like, dude, I can't fit on this. And I'm like, yeah, I see why, man. And I'm like looking up at this skyscraper. And he's like, do you know one I can get that I can fit on? And I'm like, dude, I'm 5'6", bro. You're a whole foot and a half taller than me. I have
That's
no fucking
crazy.
idea. I can't help you, bro. But I put it in the shed, right? And what I like about it is the platform for the feet goes so far up or so far down, so I can manipulate it depending how my knees feel that day. But that thing you can't get over 6 plates aside. Like for 10 to 12 reps, it's like almost impossible. The way
That's the one that I have at LA Fitness is like that too, where it's like if you put 6 plates on each
dude, it's
side, you're gonna
ridiculously
blow
hard.
out a kneecap. It's straight up and down. Yeah, it's straight up and down. The
that's
sled
like this
alone
one.
weighs
It's like the
155
fucking
pounds.
the metal bar that goes across the load the weights easily is 50 pounds. And then the platform, it's the piece of metal that it's like welded into is another 50 pounds. And then the handle, like the shoulder pads are another 50. It's ridiculous.
We should rename this podcast like Hack Squat Connoisseurs. We can always talk about hack squats.
I do love a
Never
good
hack
hack.
squatted with Tim though.
So you never have hack squatted with Tim?
Yeah, bro. I don't know what you're waiting for.
Yeah, because you live fucking 2 hours away, dude.
I don't want to hear it, bro. We can have a sleepover, and all this shit, but
Yeah, I'll bring the wife again. We'll have a sleepover. We'll sleep in the gym.
no, we gotta get rid of the women for the day. Me, you, and Tim
No.
train.
Okay.
Me, you, and
That's
Matt
so
will
we're
all
just gonna
train. Marina,
circle
you can
jerk.
train with us.
Yes.
And we can all just throw up in the backyard with the deer, and we can all get Lyme's disease together.
Yay.
now definitely in. So I got 10 minutes left and I gotta hop off for this little one. But your number one maintenance tip for maintaining weight loss is from a general population client.
Maintenance tip?
Reinforce
Yeah,
good
so like
habits.
the best way to maintain weight loss.
Keep your good habits. Weigh your food. Portion it out.
Consistency.
Consistent. Yeah, be consistent with it. Don't, when you're done with a coach, once you get to where you
Don't let
need to,
your
like I
guard
said,
down.
don't,
Almost done.
don't fall back into like
God.
bad habits.
I would say honestly, like, yeah, all that stuff, like, you know, and even if it's not like, to me, I will encourage, especially for like general population clients, like at a certain point, maybe getting away from tracking the food, getting away from the meal plan, you know, having a little bit more variety and diversity within the diet so that we can pick different, you know, fruits and veggies and explore different proteins on a regular basis, yada, 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 right? And I'll actually transition people to that before we stop working together when I have the opportunity to do so. But the reality is, I would even say at that point, I've already had discussions with you about, you know, how important your nutrition is, and like you can't just stop doing this and go back to eating Domino's every weekend and think you're going to maintain your results. It just doesn't work like that. It doesn't make any logical sense when you start to break it down the most logical ways there, right? If I didn't eat Domino's to get here and you go back to Domino's, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, and the only reason why it works for Steve is because his TRT dosage is 600 milligrams of test a week. But the bottom line there is, I would also say, like, outside of food, if we're gonna put that, like, outside of food, it would have to be for me, probably honestly, daily movement. So like steps, where it's like if I'm taking a general not all my general population clients even train regularly, right? Or maybe they train once or twice a week in certain cases. We're not relying on cardio when we get weight loss, but like daily movement's a very important thing. We see direct links to people that are more sedentary and being overweight or obese, right? We actually, if you think about that too, I know how many people watch that My 300-Pound Life or My 600-Pound Life, whatever it is. You watch those fat people shows, the one thing they always have in common is those fat bastards are sitting in their bed all day or in their chair all day. They have somebody bringing them food that's basically enabling them.
What the hell is going on?
Who's outside right now?
Sorry, there's no siren going by.
Holy shit.
So somebody's either enabling them with bringing them food on a regular basis, or they're ordering in food, or, you know, they're scootering around on some fucking scooter to be able to get everywhere. They are entirely sedentary. They do not move. And they are some of the most obese people in the world. There's a definite correlation there and link there. The more you move, and that doesn't mean you go to the gym every day, because then you're going to fuck yourself in the back end of that. That doesn't mean that you go do cardio every day because you're gonna fuck yourself in the. But moving every day, I think, is an extremely underrated way to be able to stay lean in off season, to be able to maintain your weight loss, to be able to get to that weight loss or get shredded to begin with. It's just daily movement in a way
See,
that's not overly
during
stressful.
my next push at the peak of my food, and you have to put in my program that Sam has to treat me like one of those fucking people in my actual life and just bring me food and I get a scooter.
Just get you one of those
Yeah.
scooters.
I'm dead.
So yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. The other thing for lifestyle clients, from a maintenance perspective, don't go back to your old drinking habits because that's gonna completely fuck you up. Not only like from the excess calories, but you're gonna make bad decisions when you're drunk.
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Yep.
When you're drunk,
I think that's the most
What you said?
underrated concept of drinking too. Everybody will talk about drinking as like this, it's horrible for your metabolism, it's high in calories, all true, but it also inhibits your ability to make good decisions. That's literally why we're drinking in
Yeah.
most cases, because it fucks your ability to make good decisions. You know what I mean? And that's going to parlay itself into food,
Yep.
period.
What
Nailed
got
it.
you into bodybuilding? Like actually competing?
tried to kill myself.
Straight to the point.
I
Um,
mean, I mean,
I was a gym girl and I wanted to be extra.
Yeah, but like what took the gym girl piece to being like, all right, I want to go step on stage.
I literally just wanted to push myself and take it to the next level.
Respect.
That's
Um,
essentially I saw a muscular development with Kevin Levrone on the front, figured out what bodybuilding was, and kind of the rest was his. I think honestly, we just talked about this on another podcast too. I don't remember which one it was. But the bottom line is I was already doing the shit on a regular basis where I was, and I know some people say they get lean, then they come to you and you're like, no, dude, bodybuilding's a little bit different. Like I had already experienced like being food focused to the highest degree. I had already had like veins in my legs. I'd already had like, you know what I mean? I'd already been that level of conditioning where I probably wasn't stage ready yet, but I had been damn close to being stage ready, maybe like 4 weeks out. Right. So it was really one of those things for me where it was just kind of like, the eventual idea of I'm going to bulk every winter, I'm going to cut every summer. Let me step on stage at the end of this cut just to see where I stand next to somebody else. And that was really it for me. I didn't really have this moment, like this crazy thing that kind of pushed me into it where it's like, oh, I got to do this or I got to do that. Is that showing off or is that?
Bro, I didn't have no veins in my legs.
But for you, that's because you were 12 when you did your first show.
Bro, I was 19.
That's 12.
Yeah, exactly.
Equals 12.
Marina, you're the youngest one here.
That's what I'm saying. I competed at 19 and I was 12.
Not what?
Yeah, I was 12.
I'm too old for this. Now you're confusing.
Now I'm 13 and it's a little bit better.
At least you're a teenager now.
What month is your birthday, Steve?
May 10th.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So
May 10th? That's Beamer's birthday.
Who? Oh, the dog.
My dog.
She's May 5th.
And Matt's dad's birthday.
We're both Tauruses. Oh, 4 Tauruses.
Yeah, I guess.
The dog, Matt's dad, me.
All
And your
Tauruses.
daughter. Yeah. It's the best sign.
I don't know much.
Tim, when's your birthday?
Matt, what about you? What got did you say
May
it?
5th.
Dude, we're gonna all have to go out and celebrate this year. Some shit.
What question am I being asked?
You're
I'll celebrate anything.
why you got into competing?
So I started training when I was 16, and I built muscle really quickly. And
Me too. Oh my god, it's so annoying.
Yeah, I remember the summer. My birthday's during the summer. The summer when I turned from 15 to 16, I started training, and I came back to high school, and everybody was like, "What the fuck happened to you?" I was like, I gained like 25 pounds, and one of the kids there, Tim and Steve, I know you know him. Tim, you probably know him. He competed. He still competes. And we're not friends anymore, but he said, he's like, "Oh, you should try it." So I had already like been watching a bunch of Ronnie Coleman and Kai Green videos. This was 2010. I went to like some Bev Francis seminar. For those that don't know, I live like 25 minutes from Bev Francis. And Jay was there, fucking Lee Haney was there. It was like Ronnie was there. It was sick. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a show after that. And I picked the show like a year later, and I competed.
It's cool.
She's snoring.
And she,
Yeah, she got a little snoring.
So
Did
cute.
you hear that? You guys didn't hear that?
yeah, I think like for me, I got into weightlifting just because of everything I went through with like, like depression and all that, right? Then it was 2 years of lifting. Well, no, a year of lifting before I did a show. And I just saw somebody, I can't even remember what bodybuilder was, like on some magazine and like some gas station shop I was in with my dad. And I was like, I want to look like that one day. I don't know who it was. I wish I did know. And then I just started to like research nutrition and stuff. And then my first show, the OCB show I did, I literally ate tilapia and broccoli 4 times a day, and then egg whites, 4 whole eggs, and asparagus for meal 1 and 6. I did an hour of the Stairmaster a day for 24 weeks straight from December to May. And then I did an OCB show.
My first was my first like real hardcore diet was tuna and whole wheat bread, like all day. I still to this day I cannot
Sounds
do tuna.
delicious.
Disgusting. Oh,
Yeah, awful.
All right, are we almost done? Because my bladder is
I gotta wake this
Oh.
child up, so I'm not
Maria's clearly not
regretting
here for
this
the
in
people.
an hour.
That was my last question anyway.
yeah, I don't have anything.
we good?
You got nothing else?
Oh, that's it.
Sweet.
All
All
right.
right.
All righty then.
Signing off. Thank you everyone for listening. Thanks for everyone on the live. Get your questions in Monday night, Tuesday day, and join us on the live at 6 p.m. Catch you guys next week.